The three of you are in complete silence. You are shuffling across the floor at a slow speed. The three of you, as you move into the room, move your 10 feet. That noise, Steve, which you were listening for now,
Yeah.
you hear it, and it begins a little louder as you move into the room. And the three of you, as you move in your full 10 feet, Balrog and Bruce, with your regular perception, every time that you hear, the darkness shifts. And it shifts in a vertical move, as if it was going upwards. Each time that happens. It's not happening back to back, but as you're moving, and you guys are moving forward, you do see it shift one time. So you guys have made it 10 feet in. Would everyone just give me a wisdom saving throw?
Oh, shit.
At disadvantage.
Oh.
Please and thank you.
You
Oh,
jerk.
sorry. Regular. Just give me a... I misread. Wisdom saving throw. Not at disadvantage. Just give me a wisdom saving throw.
Thank
Yes.
Thank
God.
22.
22.
16.
Okay.
14.
14. Fantastic. Okay. You should see the smile on my face.
Oh, no.
As you guys move into the room, you make your full 10 feet in. This cold, tingling sensation comes down your spine, and the hair... Well, Bruce has got a lot of hair on his back, but there's a small line on your back, the back of your neck, and you can feel that creeping coldness. It feels like there's something kind of not engulfing you, but it's on the nape of your neck. And you hear...
Make me get the shivers in real life.
And you hear the following. Why are you here?
What? Where you just want to get to the other door? We'll leave you alone.
With a 15, Bruce, you are compelled to take off your goggles.
Oh, boy. Okay. Bruce grabs his goggles, lifts them up.
Okay.
He holds his eyes shut, though.
Good point. Steve, you barely succeeded. The room is very, very cold all of a sudden, as that creeping feeling in the back of your spine and that on the back of your neck, you heard and felt the breath of somebody talking to you. Bruce, that it was... You were beyond compelled. You had to take off your goggles, and you keep your eyes closed. And it says, I haven't tasted flesh. I don't have the stomach for it. What do you three of you want to do at this time?
I'm going to continue to move forward. I don't know what the other
Steve,
guys.
you're muted, by the way. Bruce, you're up front, right? I want to hear what
Yeah,
Steve said before we
continue.
move on.
Okay.
I was asking if the rest of us knew this was happening.
Yeah, all three of you hear the voice at the same time on the back of your necks. The only person that had to do anything was Bruce, because he failed the wisdom saving throw and had to take off his goggles.
Okay.
Balrog and Steve, are you still walking along? Is there any... Bruce is going to continue forward 10 feet. Steve, what are you doing?
I suppose I'm going to follow along. I don't want
Okay.
to get separated.
Balrog, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'll follow along.
Okay. You make it another 10 feet. And you hear... Somehow it tastes better when you're in the room.
What's your shimala?
It doesn't... Are you asking that?
Yeah, I'm asking it out loud. I'm just gonna
And what was the question that you asked?
You said Somala? Is that what you said? What did you say?
Somehow it tastes better when you're in the room.
Okay. All right. What tastes better?
Your essence.
All right.
Oh.
You make it your 10 feet, and you hear,
Yep.
and it's louder at this point. At this point, I need you all to give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh boy. Oh, look at my cons real high.
15.
Okay.
A 10.
10. Okay, Bruce.
13.
Woo. All right. Let me roll some dice. And all right, we're going to roll this for everyone. Nice. You feel this leeching sensation off of your arms. It's like have you ever seen visually when somebody's falling and they have like steam or just steam rolling off of somebody? I can't really explain what that would feel like per se, but that would be the visual as this steam is rolling off of you. But instead of steam, it is your blood in a mist form coming through your skin. All of you take 5 damage as your blood begins to pool and then become a mist and then float upwards. And then as this happens,
Hey,
Don't like that.
the sound with your passive perception, as this is a painless procedure. You don't feel pain, but you know some blood has left your body. The noise that the sucking sound is coming from is directly above you. Before, it was as if it was somewhere in the room, right? Now you can hear it clear as day. The noise is directly above you. How far above you? You don't have any clue. What would you guys like to do?
I'm gonna pick up the pace a little bit.
Yeah, is there any way we could speed up a touch?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna just start walking my full 60 feet of movement. I think.
Great. Brucey, Steve, Balrog, all 3 of you give me dexterity saving throws at disadvantage.
Shit.
While you guys are rolling these numbers,
Oh, yes.
Man.
That's a 21.
21.
Oh.
I rolled 2 18s on disadvantage. That's so sick.
That's impressive. That is very... Yeah, plus you have +3 in dex, which makes no sense as a sorcerer, but you're backflipping.
It really doesn't.
You're backflipping all over the place.
Yeah.
All right, while you guys are rolling, I'm going to just check the stream, make sure we're all good still.
I have it on my desktop. I've been checking on it once in a while.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Yep, we're still good.
Mine was a 14.
Mine was a 5.
Brucey, you just make
It's like
all
I
the
slip and
cool
fall.
story stuff happen. I love it.
Oh no!
I love
Dragging
it.
the rest of the team to our death.
I
slowly
love
but
that you
surely.
just make my every dream. You make a DM's dream come true. I just want to let you know. All right, give me a second. I'm hiding pages here and stuff, and VR chat's being a little weird. So, okay. The dexterity saving throw is for the following. As you guys begin to move faster, you hear the voice on the back of your neck, and it goes, "I wasn't done." And it's excited. And this, you hear as a large, I'm just going to give you the visual descriptor because describing this is going to be very hard as you can't see anything. As if a large tentacle flops down in front of the 3 of you. And Bruce, you trip over it wholeheartedly. Steve, somehow, as soon as Bruce loses his footing, you do a front flip over Bruce and you are now in front because the three of you did catch speed before this happened, and there was no way you could see this tentacle-like thing in front of you. Bruce, you are face down prone. Steve,
Great.
you front flip over him out of pure natural instinct. Balrog, what was your roll?
14.
14. You run into Bruce, that he is below you, but you don't run over him. You don't trip and fall. You just kind of like stub your toe in the dark, as to say, onto Bruce's feet. And at this time, because Bruce, you missed your dexterity saving throw, you don't take damage, but because you fell, a tentacle-like thing wraps around your right foot. And it pulls you immediately upside down.
Great.
You do not have your goggles on.
Yes, but I'm still holding my eyes closed. Right?
You're
Okay.
still holding your eyes closed. It's up to you.
All right. Yep. So I'm upside down. Can I pull out my axe and see if I can swing? Ooh, that could end badly with my eyes closed, though. Well, I'm holding my eyes and I can't shivers because I still can't see anything.
Brucey, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna take my axe and I'm gonna throw it in the direction I hear the voice coming from.
Okay. You are upside down. You're gonna pull out your axe and do like a mid-air crunch, and
I'm gonna
just
try to
hurl
get
it.
some momentum and just freaking throw it as hard as I can at the direction I believe the voice is coming from,
Okay.
which would be up.
Yeah. Okay. We are going to rectify that real quick here as soon as Balrog and Steve tell me what their next actions are going to do as Bruce is about to hurl his axe into the darkness. You don't know that he's doing this, by the way. You can't see it.
I think Steve's just gonna keep moving, trying to get to the other end of the rope.
Okay. Steve, for your turn, you're going to like full on sprint, or are you going slow? Tell me how you're going through the room.
No, Steve's booking it. Steve does not like this
Steve's
whole
booking
not
it.
being able to see thing.
All right, Steve needs to give me another dexterity saving throw at disadvantage.
Stick.
Balrog, what are you doing? You've ran into Bruce. All of a sudden, you hear this motion that Bruce is being pulled up in front of you, upside down, but you have no idea that he is upside down in front of you.
I would say out of like pure instinct when I hear because I imagine it like when I'm listening to it that it's more of like one of those cartoon whip noises that yanks him.
Absolutely.
I would say out of instinct I would just reach out because I would think that when I notice that he's tripped and fallen over, I'd try to help him up. Once I've realized that. So by doing that, in that motion, because I can't see anything, trying to help him up off the floor, hopefully my intention would be to at least make contact with him and to try to grapple him or grab him.
Sure. So this is what happens. I'm going to paint this beautiful picture for you. Ready? You ready for this?
Yes.
You run into Bruce Balrog. And you stumble and go forward, and you feel him below you as he is hunched over a tentacle, essentially. And all of a sudden, in a couple seconds, like you're feeling around, you know that he's fallen down. Why you guys haven't said words, I have no idea. And all of a sudden, the body that's in front of you kind of whips around as if he's being pulled upside down. And then all of a sudden, you're in like a standing 69 kind of situation, and you just grab him around the waist. As now you realize that it's all backwards.
Ugh, what does that smell?
Who's got a hold of it? Is that you, Balrog?
Yes, that's me, Bruce.
Can you reach up and untie the thing that's around my feet?
Well, hold on.
Well, I've already done my action,
Hold on. So I will let you, Bruce, retcon your throwing axe in the situation that Balrog has completely grappled you around your belly.
He did. Yeah. So I'm gonna retcon that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at this current time, back to the top, we're going back to Steve. You guys are in a standing 69 situation. Steve, what do you got for me?
All right, so I had disadvantage. I rolled in this order a nat 20 and an 8. Can I use Tides of Chaos to take that nat 20? Tides of Chaos is once per long rest, gain advantage on one attack roll, ability check, or saving throw.
No, it would be you would have to roll it again, and then
Okay.
it would be whatever. You gain advantage, so you would re-roll. So that Tides of Chaos will negate those 2 rolls. You will roll one more time, and that's the number that you have to take.
Okay. I lost my dice roller. Hold, please. That's a 16.
Yeah, still better than an 8.
Yeah. I'm happy with that.
16?
Also, just for your reference, you can make me roll on the surge table, but I get it back. So-
Oh, son, I was ahead of you on that one.
Okay, just checking.
Oh, 100%. I am rolling that percentile dice right now. Ooh, I have a D100 on here. That's cool.
Oh, that's cool. Digital D100.
Oh,
Nice.
no, it says it's a D100, but it's just a 100 percentile dice. All right, so your number is 49.
49. I think that's a new one.
I believe so, too. I would hope that most of these would be new. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be silly if we start getting some duplicates on 100 stack.
Well, we've gotten the bear twice.
Oh, baby, a triple. Steve, roll me. I'm going to let you roll me.
No.
Roll me a
Okay.
D10. This is in minutes.
Okay. That's a 4.
So for the next 4 minutes, Steve, you are unable
Yeah.
to speak, and every time you try to speak, you emit pink bubbles instead.
Oh, God, we have had this before.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
really?
have.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, good to know.
Pink bubbles for the next 4 minutes. Okay.
All right.
With the number, which was what? What did you roll? One more time.
16.
With a 16, you feel somehow your senses were so on point that a tentacle hits in front of you and then starts to swipe towards you. And just like the old school jumpy jump ropes, you jump right over it with ease.
Neat.
And that is your turn.
Neat.
But you avoided being grappled. That's a plus.
Yeah.
So, we're back to Mr. Brucey.
Right, so I'm inside of Balrog's junk,
Yep.
face deep in it. I'm gonna, oh, Balrog, can you untie my foot? That'd be amazing. I can't see anything, and something's got a hold of me.
I would like to try to do that.
Okay. Balrog, I'll let you do that as an action. You reach up and you find his foot, and it feels like a tentacle with suckers all over it. And it's juicy and wet and slimy, and you are going to try to rip it off, or how do you want to try to get it off of his foot?
So, would I have enough time to pull out my new handy dandy warhammer?
Oh, are you gonna walk on my foot?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay, and that's awesome. I would like to try to cut off the tentacle.
Oh, Jesus.
Try to
So
cut it off with a hammer?
It's a
Warhammer.
warhammer.
Warhammers are blunt, so you'd be impaling it with bludgeoning damage, not so much a slicing motion.
Okay.
I'm all for it. Tell me exactly what you're doing, and I will make you roll for it, sir.
I would like to just try to bash the tentacle.
Oh, Jesus.
Sure. I need you to roll an attack. And it's going to be It's not going to be at disadvantage because you've already established with your hands where it is and hanging, and it's taunt, so it's not like he's swinging around. You pull out your Warhammer of Doom, and you swing that Warhammer with such finesse, I'm sure, to hit this tentacle on his foot. Tell me what you rolled to attack.
So the initial was 16. So are we just playing these new weapons as
for now? Yeah. 16 does hit. So go ahead and roll Morningstar damage.
So yeah, I mean. 13.
Okay. You inflict, in fact, 16 damage on this tentacle. Bruce, you receive 6.
Oh, great.
As Balrog, you swung this with a bludgeoning force, but right around his ankle, just the mere fact of physics, it's going to hurt him quite a bit here as it squishes, and you easily squish through the tentacle and flatten it. And when this happens, a essence of juice spills all over you and Bruce. You feel a liquid that is now on your body, but you have no idea what it is. You could try to smell it if you want.
Disgusting. Yeah, I'm gonna pick my hand up and just give it a whiff.
This is something that you've smelled quite a bit before.
Oh God!
But it is blood that you smell, and you are unsure if it is your blood.
I would like to try to wipe it off of me.
Sure. So when you hit it with this Warhammer and deflating this tentacle, essentially, Bruce, you do fall to the ground. So you're down on the ground, no problem. You're not being held on by Balrog anymore, and you guys are not covered, but you have a decent amount of this blood now all over you.
Sweet.
At this current time, I'm going to go back to Steve, and the three of you are going to have to do something for me. So in this order, we're going to keep going in this order. Steve, Balrog, Bruce. Okay? Steve, Balrog, Bruce. The three of you need to give me a wisdom saving throw, and Bruce, it will be at disadvantage.
Of course it will be.
Just, Bruce, I want to make sure to let you know, too, you still have your goggles.
Yeah, they just in my hand, right?
Correct.
Because I took them off.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a 10 for you, boy.
10 for Stevie. Balrog, how you feeling?
Nat 20 plus 7.
Nat 20.
Jesus.
Okay. Bruce?
11.
11. Okay. Steve, what was your number one more time?
10.
Okay, Steve, you feel that cold sensation. All three of you feel that cold sensation in the back of your neck again, and the breath to the right of your ear. You feel the breathing there, and Steve, you were compelled to take off your goggles as well, and they're just in your hand. Bruce, you are compelled to let go of the rope.
Oh, great.
Standing up and begins to walk 10 feet adjacent from the rope. So, Balrog, the way that you're looking, you technically have Steve in front of you, about 15 feet in front of you, and now Bruce is turned and walking to your left away from the rope into the darkness.
Can I react to this or no? I guess I wouldn't. I wouldn't see it.
You wouldn't know. Yep, you wouldn't know.
That's fair.
Balrog,
Bruce, follow my voice.
Balrog, the difference is you do realize that Bruce is walking away from the rope because he was right on top of you.
So I got to go 10 feet and I can just stop.
We'll go across that here soon.
Okay.
And so, and we're going to go up to Steve now. Steve, your action. Remember, Steve, Balrog, Bruce. Steve, what would you like to do now that you have taken these goggles off? Do you keep your eyes closed? Do you open them?
I'm keeping them closed. I assume I can't try to put the goggles back on.
Not for one full turn.
Okay. Steve's just gonna keep moving forward, I guess, since he doesn't know what's happening back there and would have no reason to.
Sure. At this current time, are you walking slow? Are you running? What are you doing?
I'm still running.
Okay, you begin running again, and you will need to give me another dexterity saving throw at disadvantage as you were running.
I assumed. I'm gonna use Tides of Chaos again.
Okay.
So just the one roll.
Okay.
All right. That is a 22.
Yeah, a tentacle comes from the right side now at waist height, and you begin to do the limbo and just immediately spin halfway down to the floor and do these splits like lean back as the tentacle barely moves across above you as you barely dodge as it's trying to grasp. And you come back up from your splits / super lean, and you begin running. You are, I need to give me a Constitution saving throw, please, Stevie.
Yes, sir.
And then I'll tell you why here in a second. Balrog, you are on deck. What do you got for me?
I'd like to reach out to Bruce.
Do what?
Yeah, you were cutting out real bad right there.
Cut out.
Oh, I wanted to reach out to Bruce and let him know that he's going the wrong way.
Okay, do you grab him? Do you keep him from going? What are you doing? Tell me your intent here.
Well, he was already 10 feet away going the wrong direction.
He's not 10 feet yet, so this is all happening at the same time. He stood up and he let go of the rope, and you know that he's right in front of you, and he's beginning to walk into the darkness. You absolutely have the ability to grab onto him.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. I would like to do that.
Okay, make a grapple check, make a strength to see if you can grab him into the darkness and hold him still. Bruce, I need you to give me a strength check as well, just purely D20 plus your modifier of strength, and it's just going to be a contest of grappling and keeping him still, as he is not himself.
17 was my check.
Okay.
9.
Yeah, Balrog, you reach out with your left hand and grab Bruce's left arm as he is walking out into the darkness. And what's happened is you've grabbed him with such ferocity that Bruce is still trying to walk into the darkness, and he is just pulling against you, but you've got a good grip on his arm, and you're not letting him go into the darkness. That is how you'll spend your turn. You can talk however much you want, but Bruce, your entire turn is trying to go into the darkness.
Okay.
Yeah, go for. Well, you can't speak though, Bruce. You're completely.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't
You're under a spell.
Okay.
Balrog, is there anything you want to say before I go to Steve?
Bruce, what is the matter with you? You're going the wrong direction. Grab onto the rope.
And no response. All right, Steve, what'd you roll for your Constitution saving throw?
19.
That's good. That means you take half damage.
Oh, neat. How much is half?
You take 4d6, 20 damage, aka 10 damage, as
thank God.
you are running full speed and run into the wall. Head first, knocking you prone, but you found the other wall. And you are at where the rope is going into the wall. So what happened is, as you're running full speed, pure darkness, pure darkness, pure darkness, you barrel headfirst into a wall and knock yourself down. You are now prone. You've taken 10 damage from a beautiful head wound, and that's where you're standing right now. That's the rest of your turn. Balrog, you heard a thud, bang, crash, as Steve off in the distance ran into a wall, but you don't know that. But you heard the sound effect of him running into a wall. Bruce, you heard this, but you cannot react to it. You do hear Balrog say, "Hey, you're going the wrong way," but there's nothing you can do about it. You are forcibly walking in that direction.
Okay.
Okay, back up to the top, Steve. We just finished your full action because I wanted to make sure. Now you were at the rope. The rope is right above you. You were prone. What would you like to do?
Stand up, which is half your move action. Yes.
Yep.
And feel around on the wall for a door or some kind of handle or anything.
Yeah, so you stand up, you kind of bump into the rope, you feel the rope as it goes to a wall, and you're feeling the wall, and it feels like an outline of a door. You find 2 hinges, you go then to the left, and you find a door handle, and what's the purpose? Are you trying to open the door? Are you trying to wait? What are you going to do?
I am trying to open the door.
Wonderful. Okay, you're at the door. Balrog, what is the action that you would like to do at this time?
My intention would be to, since I still have my hand on the rope and I have my other hand trying to get Bruce to stop doing what he's doing, I would like to try to pull him in the direction that we're trying to go to make it towards Steve. That would be my intention. Sure.
You got Bruce basically fighting you for a little bit of the time, and then his body goes a bit limp. So at this current time, you're kind of pulling his just zombie-like body. He's not really fighting you, but you're just kind of like leading a child. As for this turn, Bruce, you are full of exhaustion, and you take 1 point of exhaustion as the mental capacity of being completely compelled it has just drained you of all of your essence. You know what's going on, but it's for 1 full round. You cannot do any actions other than be led. So Balrog, you're going to lead Bruce down the rope back towards where Steve's direction, correct? That's the purpose?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, not a problem. You make it 20 feet with him during this turn, and you're kind of shuffling him along, and that's what you guys do. So as you guys are making your way down this wonderful rope, a familiar noise. I haven't gotten my fill. And at this time, you haven't felt wind or gust every time you've heard the noise, and you felt, and as you're looking through the goggles, you can feel the darkness shift. This time, the darkness really shifts, but to the point that you feel wind almost pulling upwards, and it's a bit of a gust of wind. And you all 3 need to give me Constitution saving throws.
Again?
Yeah. Hey, just be glad this one's not at disadvantage, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks, DM.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, I actually had a
18
good
on
one
my
that
con.
time.
I'm sorry. It was a 22 with my modifier.
Okay, Constitution saving throw. 22 for Balrog.
16.
Okay, Bruce.
25.
Okay. All 3 of you succeed. It was 16. So you take half damage, which is 12.
Half damage is 12?
Half damage is 12.
Oh, shit.
And that noise of the steam, the blood steam starts curdling from your veins as a large amount of blood begins to come out of your skin and pool into a mist that's coming off of each 3 of you and spiraling towards the top of the ceiling. You each take 12, so go ahead and take that damage. And at this current time, I need Bruce and Balrog to give me wisdom saving throws. Not at disadvantage. Wait, hold on. Sorry, I had that wrong. Bruce, your goggles are off. I need you to give me a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage. Balrog, yours is not at disadvantage. And Steve, you don't have to take one at all.
Neat.
8.
Okay.
26.
All right. Balrog, you pass. Bruce, you do not. Bruce, you are... let me do it from Balrog's perspective. You are leading Bruce by the hand behind you, and all of a sudden, he's been very lifeless this entire time, and as you're leading him, all of a sudden, it's like you're trying to pull a stone. He stops in his tracks, and you hear, as you look back, you hear a weapon unsheath, and then the sound of whoosh, as an axe is barreling through the darkness. You can give me a dexterity saving throw at disadvantage if you like, or you can try to block.
Who, me or Balrog?
Balrog.
Oh.
Bruce, you are currently swinging at Balrog with your axe.
I understand now.
I would like. What'd you say the save was?
Dexterity saving throw at disadvantage, or try to block.
Try to block.
Okay. Bruce, I need to know what your roll for me an attack with rage
with my great axe.
With your great axe plus 4.
Gotcha. Give me just a minute here. Come on, mouse. There we go.
I got that hearing thing where it's like
18.
18. Okay.
Yeah.
And Balrog, you're trying to block this, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Your AC is what exactly?
20.
Okay. It's 20 because of your shield. Am I mistaken?
No, so my AC is 19, but if I'm wearing armor, it's +1, so 20.
Okay, 20. All right. So when I said that you hear it unsheathing and an axe coming through, Bruce is... is it Marionetta? No. Marionette?
Yeah, Marionette.
Yep.
Marionette.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't think of the word.
The one.
He's being marionetted.
Someone's puppet.
His legs, his arms, and his head are all suspended now, about 3 feet off the ground, and there are tentacles running to each of his hands, to the back of his spine, to each of his feet, and one coming off of his head, and he is completely lifted. And when he swings, it's the tentacle is wrapped around his hand, which is wrapped around his axe, and he swings wide and hits into your armor, but it does not penetrate, leaving a large gash in your armor. As this is quite a bit of force. You do not take any damage, as the armor does protect you, but Bruce is in front of you at this point. That is what happens, Balrog. What would you like to do as a response? So think about that. Steve, you're working on the door, right?
Yes.
Great. Are you trying to open the door? That was the purpose for your turn?
Yes.
Great. It's locked as you try to click, 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 click. What would you like to do? That's basically a bonus action. Trying to open a door.
I'm gonna cast Firebolt at the door.
Like point blank? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. You cast fire. I'm not even gonna have you roll it. Just roll me. Just tell me what damage you roll normally for a firebolt. It's a 1d10.
2d10.
2d10. Roll that damage for me. You put your hand against the door, palm flat against the door, and you cast Firebolt. And the whole door from right there as a scorch mark begins to light on fire. Roll that damage for me.
That is... Shit. Why won't it work? There we go. 11.
11 damage. When you firebolt the door, you hear that immediately during the sucking noise, you hear this weird high-pitched bird-like scream. Just a screeching noise coming from the top. You do 11 damage to the door. Back to Balrog.
Yeah, I would like to cast Conquering Presence. So as an action, force chosen creatures within 30 feet to make a Wisdom saving throw, DC of 15, or they become frightened for 1 minute.
Okay. All right. Let me roll this. Roll my d20. Clear. Roll d20. Okay. So can you flavor that for me at all? What that looks like to you?
Yeah. So I would kind of from the backstory of Balrog for people who aren't familiar. Whenever this happens, which is very seldom or rare, in order for him to kind of have that threatening thing, the scales starting from the tip of his tail all the way that run up the length of him start to glow in that lightning bluish hue in order to cast that Conquering Presence.
Yeah, so just adding a little flavor to that as well. Those scales start showing that electricity. Unfortunately, you're in a complete darkness where no one can see this. But as you bring your right foot down and cause a thunderous wave of electricity through the room, it's very palpable in the air as there's electricity in the air. And as the electricity goes around Bruce's tentacles, it immediately begins to shrink and lets Bruce's body go, and Bruce falls to the ground, just the 3 feet. You don't take any damage. You just lifeless onto the ground. Your head bounces off the floor and wakes you up. You are well aware of where you're at currently, Bruce. You're not under any control. And the tentacles, you hear a slithering retraction of tentacles from all around the room. We're talking like on your left side, your right side, above you, all around. It's just slithering tentacle sound. Just all like ever heard of the sound of like a den of snakes all slithering on top of each other? That's all around you, and it all retracts towards the ceiling as you heard that scream. So between Steve firebolting the door and hearing a scream, this scream of this Balrog intimidating presence also does this, but it retracts all the tentacles. At this current time, Bruce, you are kind of coming to. I'll give you an action as you are not a puppet anymore.
Am I still prone on the ground?
Yep, you're prone.
I'd like to stand back up if I can, please.
Yeah. Basically, Balrog's in front of you, and you don't know this, but Steve is 25 feet in front of you.
Right.
Like, you don't know that, but you're on the rope.
Yeah. All right, so I stand back up and my head hurts. What happened, Balrog? Did I do something I wasn't supposed to do?
Don't worry about it now. You need to grab hold of rope and start running as fast as you can to get to Steve. We need to get out of here.
All right. So I'm going to reach out and see if I can find the rope.
Yep. You were right there at the rope. That's not a problem.
Right.
You grab on the rope, and the two of you begin to book it down the rope, right?
Yep.
Are you running full speed?
Sure.
Like, as full speed as you could be, like, holding your arm out, like, touching?
Yeah, right. As fast as I can go, holding out, trail behind the horn.
Yeah,
I feel like I wouldn't be, because I've now... Has my character realized that he has won the Conquering Presence? Well, I mean, I'm assuming he does, right? Because he let him go.
You cast the presence, and Bruce fell to the ground, and the tentacles are sounding like they're retracting to the walls. If that's when, yes.
Okay, so by knowing that, I would start to have a little bit more, like a little bit of confidence going. So I don't think that I would be running as fast, but I would, brisk pace.
How far are you trying to get of your 30 feet?
All 30.
Okay, to get all 30, that's full speed. If you're trying to be at a brisk pace, you're going to be like 20-ish.
Okay, I'll go 20-ish.
Okay, you go 20-ish. Bruce, you have farther movement speed, right?
Yeah, I got like 60 feet, but I can move.
So you're gonna pass Balrog.
Okay.
As you realize you're running in Balrog for you're feeling that gash from Bruce, and you're just huffing and puffing a little bit. You need to hit the cardio, and Bruce is going to run around you, and you're going to run the full speed that you possibly can while touching Bruce. And, well, sorry to say it, boys, but it's silly. We're going to have to do this.
Oh boy.
Okay, so it's not bad, but Bruce, you are running at such a speed. Steve, Bruce barrels into you, which puts you into the door. So he just he barrels between, but it sandwiches you in. Bruce, you take 4 damage as you're much taller than him, and even though you kind of trip over him, your head bounces off the door. Steve, you take 2 damage as it kind of pins you against the wall a bit, which was extremely uncomfortable. But the door also, when you hit the door with such force, that screeching noise happens again. But when you hit the door, that retraction noise stops, and you hear movement of tentacles from all the doors coming towards you. Or from all the walls coming towards you. Balrog, you make it very close, but you hear Bruce pass you on your left, and then all of a sudden a big crash and oof, and then you hear Steve's voice and Bruce and them falling almost to the ground. So I'm going to guess that you slow down.
Yeah. I figured since he was barreling that this would happen, so that's why I didn't run as fast.
Thank you, Bruce.
So,
sorry.
as you make it there, let me make sure to paint the picture perfectly. When, Bruce, you run into Steve into the door, that sound effect of screeching happens, and then the tentacles begin, they stop retracting, and you hear a lot of disgusting, juicy, wet, slithering noises all around you begin to become louder as they encroach closer to you. So, there's stuff coming all above you, right, left, behind, everywhere except from the door.
Okay. I'm guessing that Steve had already tried to open the still lock, right? Door still closed.
When Steve jiggled the handle, it was locked. It was not opening from jiggling the handle.
Great. All right. Oh, hey guys. I don't know what's going on, but I think we need to get out of here. And I'm gonna try to open the door again. I guess reach around Steve, or unpin him from the wall.
Yeah, you guys are not pinned or anything. You're standing next to each other. Balrog, you hear Bruce talking in this way. We're going to start back up to the top. Even Bruce, like you run into, you say these things. Steve, it's your turn. Balrog, and then Bruce. So Balrog, have your actions on deck. Steve, what do you want to do?
I want to cast Firebolt at the door again.
Okay. Roll the damage.
8.
You put your palm against it and slap it to the door and utter those beautiful words of Firebolt. And then a scorching fireball, then spreads across the door again, spreading its flames, and you hear that screeching bird-like noise as then the tentacles begin to retract again away from you.
Oh. Bruce would like to pull out his axe and then bury it into the door as hard as he can.
On your turn, you can do that. Balrog, you're up next. Unless Steve, you have something else. Sorry.
Nope, I do not.
Okay, so I would like to cast.
Technically, Balrog, you don't know this. You cannot see any of this. You hear a fire sound and then a screeching noise, and then around you they retract. You still have 10 feet to go to make it to Bruce and Steve. But you don't know that them attacking the door is what's causing that. I just want to make sure that's clear.
Yeah, I would like to make it to the door.
Yeah, absolutely. You make it to the door and feel the fact that there's Bruce's back and then Steve, and you feel the heat from the door.
Okay. I would like to. I would like to pull out. Well, I'd like to pull out my Warhammer, and then I would like to hit it with Divine Smite.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. Roll to attack for your Warhammer. I'll add just a plus for it right now. And then Divine Smite is on top of it, right? It adds extra damage for your weapon attack.
So this is where I don't know how much I can get from this. So with Divine Smite, when you hit with a melee weapon attack, you can expand one spell slot to deal 2d8 extra radiant damage to the target, plus 1d8 for each spell level higher than first, max up to 5, and plus 1d8 against undead or fiends. So because of that radiant damage.
Yep, not an undead or fiend. You're going to get your radiant damage. So if you're doing this at first level, you just add 2d8 radiant damage.
Okay.
Bum, bum, bum. But you got to still swing an attack. Let's make sure to hit that door. It's got a low DC. It is a door. But accuracy, the fact that it's a door and Steve has his hand on the door, fire bolting and doing these things, he's very close. Just make sure you don't, impale Steve to the door like he has been. Oh, no, you can't say it. I know what you're going to say. You cannot say that. I know it. I know.
Well, I've already committed.
No, I'm not. Hey, can I get a reaction here for the thing I'm trying to do? It's not probably what you thought.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Let's get the numbers first, and then we'll do the Steve thing. Cool.
But it's pertinent to his numbers.
Okay. So tell me as a reaction what you're.
I'm using Bend Luck, so I get to burn 2 sorcery points and roll a d4 to add it to his attack. So as to hopefully not have my hand slapped by a mace.
Say okay.
Or a warhammer.
Hold on. Bend Luck, you're adding to his attack damage.
No, it's to hit. Makes an attack roll ability check.
I see what you're going at. For more accuracy, so that your hands. Yeah, I can see that. You feel this large, lumbering Balrog coming behind. You hear the hammer come out, and you, with quick action, react to a swinging hammer towards the door, and you Bend Luck. And what'd you roll to add to it?
A 3.
Okay. Balrog, what's your total to hit with your...
24.
Okay, with the 3?
No, so that would be 27.
Okay, 27. You're going to swing with a wide arc, and instead of coming down, which you would normally, like a vertical slice down, which would just destroy Steve into this door. You're with being wide. You were aiming for the middle of the door, but not knowing that you're so in the darkness. You actually hit the hinge of the door. There's 2. There's an upper and a lower, and you destroy the hinge, bending the door almost in half from the top down. Go ahead and roll me the damage. It currently has, I believe, 18 damage, if I remember correctly. No, 19. You did 8 and 11. Right, Steve, from your firebolts, I believe that was what it was?
Yes, 8 and 11.
8 and 11, so 19 there.
So 12 total damage, and then 6 of that would be radiant.
Okay, fantastic. The 12 total damage from the blunt as you hit the hinge and start breaking through this metal and wood door. The radiant begins to melt the door as if touching hot magma. And this radiant melting begins to, you hear this screeching amplify even more as that 6 damage from radiant turns into 12, and the damage that you've done to the door begins to go from a melting sensation, which you can't see, so this is purely flavor. It goes from a melting sensation, and then then the door itself becomes liquid blood and falls to the ground from a solid. You got to respawn.
Yeah.
You gotta respond.
I've caught the chair before while standing on
I
the
have
table,
to.
but it wasn't working.
So to do that one last time, when you hit the door and bending the door itself, the metal and the wood, you go from a burning sensation, almost like a hot magma burning the metal. The radiant damage begins to take it to a certain point, and then the door goes from being a solid completely to blood, liquid, and then falls away to the floor, and you hear this large splash as blood then flows. The door is open.
Hooray! I would like to walk through the door.
Yeah, all of you talked at the same time. What?
I would like to walk through the door.
Okay, you three all have your... okay, so a couple things. You haven't opened your eyes yet. Bruce and Balrog, you have your goggles still on. Steve and Bruce, you do not have your goggles on. Is this a point in time in which you're going to open your eyes? Have you done... You see what I'm saying? What? Tell me exactly what's happening here. I need to know from the three of you.
I'm gonna go ahead and open my eyes and hopefully see the doors open and walk through it.
Okay, Steve, what are you doing?
Same.
Okay, Balrog?
I would like to walk through before I take my goggles off.
Okay. Somebody give me a time check. Does anybody have a time?
It is
2:14.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, good. So the three of you, I'm going to tell you each of you how this happens. Bruce, when you open your eyes, Steve, when you open your eyes, you're standing in a square-like function next to the rope like the other side of the room. There is light where you are standing. You are still in the darkness room, but then you see through the door that there is another room. So you walk through the door?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. You walk through the door, Balrog. You don't take off your goggles, so you're kind of feeling around, and you feel the rope, and the rope ends. That's where the door was, and you take off the goggles and walk through, correct?
I wanted to walk through the door and then take my goggles
Sure.
off.
You walk through the door, you take your goggles off, and the three of you, as you turn around and look, the door from the base the blood begins to pool again, and then like 3D printing with the blood, the door begins to form from the base all the way to the top as the blood fills up and then goes from blood to then a solid, and then the door appears.
Well, that was weird.
Okay.
Okay.
Jesus. Okay. What would you guys like to do?
I would like to ask Balrog if he could heal me because I'm feeling pretty rough.
I would actually. Steve would ask for priority on that because I'm down to 15.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, that's fine. You get priority.
If I could get some laying on of hands, that would be just swell.
So while you guys are going to be touching each other, I need to explain the room that you're in, so that you understand what's where you're at. Because why would you want to heal yourself if there was like a skeleton right in front of you, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So in this room, it is about triple the size of where the room that you were just in. It's a dim light throughout the edges of the room, but in the center of the room, it's pretty dark. There are no sconces, there are no light forms. It's just kind of this natural lighting inside. It's very eerie. And in the center of the room, in the middle of the darkness, you see a small fairy. It's dim, but there's a small 6-inch tall fairy. And it's just fluttering there, and there's little fairy dust pixies falling off of this fairy. What would you guys like to do?
I need both of you guys to tell me what your HP is at.
Heal Steve, I'm good still.
Okay. Lay on hands pool and give Steve all 20.
Okay. It's going to take you just a little bit here, one full action. So the next 10 seconds of praying to your god and transferring some wonderful healing energy to Steve. Steve, 20 HP. That's very helpful, as I know you were getting low.
God, yeah, I was not in good shape.
Okay, as you guys are standing there and spending this time healing, you begin to hear a song. Have you ever heard music like behind a door where it's muffled?
Yeah.
You can't really tell, but you know that there's music coming from a direction, and the music is coming from the middle of the room, like towards the fairy. And the fairy is, if you look hard enough, is waving her hands back and forth and kind of like twirling around, and you hear this beautiful, like angelic piano piece, but you really can't. You can hear that there's a voice being said, but you can't really hear it. The song begins, put it that way.
Okay.
I would like to approach the fairy.
Oh. Well, I was going to talk about it first, but yeah, we can go for that. That's fine.
Okay. It is around 30 feet from you, so you use your turn walking up towards it. As you are starting to walk, are you guys all going together? Are you guys...
Bruce is going to hang back. Just a little bit.
No, I'm going with Balrog.
Okay. So the three of you begin to walk in this room, and does anybody want to give me any checks? You know, I'm not
I want to do a
I'm not gonna guide you here, but I'm gonna ask this. Does anybody want to give me any checks?
I
Yeah,
would like to do a
perception would be
perception roll.
Okay.
I would like to make an investigation as I'm walking.
Investigation won't really work while you're walking. It's more of like I'm trying to go through a cupboard investigation. Yours would be more of a perception.
Steve got a... Sorry.
I got a 19.
Perception, Bruce?
19 perception.
Okay. Steve, what are you rolling?
Perception.
Okay. What did you roll?
21.
Okay. Balrog?
13 on perception.
Great. So, as you guys are kind of looking around the room, Bruce, you're kind of staying back a bit, or are you not going at all? What are you doing?
I'm gonna just walk forward. I don't know, about 5 feet, but then kind of hang back and watch and see what happens.
Okay. You guys just
after
never
my
mind.
experience, I'm a little worried.
Sure.
Bruce is gonna take it out of him.
So one of you, so like you guys never go in together. One of you is like, I go in, and then one of you is like, I'm staying back. Balrog was what stayed back during the entire fish fight. Bruce is now staying back in this. It's funny. You guys you're so different. You always keep me on my toes. That's for sure. As you guys, okay, so a couple things. You're looking around the room and you're looking at the room itself, kind of trying to perceive what's happening in this room, and also this fairy. Who rolled the highest? Bruce?
Yeah.
Okay, it was 21, right, Bruce?
Yeah, it's 20.
Okay, it's above 20. That's
Yeah,
good.
but-
Balrog, what did you roll exactly because you were walking up to?
13.
Okay. With a 13, you don't really notice anything against the walls. You're really fixated on the fairy itself. And as you're getting closer and closer, the music begins to get a little bit louder, and the fairy is just suspended there in air and kind of doing a little dance, almost like those little music boxes where you have the little ballerina in the music box. That's kind of what she's doing. She's doing a dance mid-air and fluttering around just a little bit in the middle of the room, but it's quite dark. You're going into darker territory. So this is where I need to ask, because you guys have the goggles on. You guys took the goggles off. This room is very dim. Balrog, you can't see. Wait, do you have dark vision, correct?
Bruce does. I do not.
That's right. So do you have your Everlit torch out? What are you doing for light in this room?
Yeah, I'll take out my Everlit torch.
Right, and you've got that out in front of you, and as you're getting closer to the middle of the room, the light... So you know how when you have a flashlight out or a candle out, there's a certain amount of brightness that you can see. As you're moving towards, the brightness that you can see further in retracts towards you, as if the darkness won't let the light penetrate.
Okay.
You are getting closer to the fairy. Steve, What are you doing? Just purely perception?
Yeah, perception, and I'm pretty much just sticking with Balrog for the time being.
Okay, so... Oh, you're going up with Balrog. Okay.
Yes.
With your perception, which was what?
21.
Great. With a 21, you get a lot of information about the room itself. So as you guys are walking in, to your left, there is 2 giant iron doors. They're about 12 feet tall. In this room, it goes up about 40 feet. It's very tall ceilings. Yet you can't really see the ceilings like in perfect color, but you know where the corners of the room are. There is almost a pure darkness that is in the center of the room, and on the outer edges you can see a little bit of light. Specifically, now that Balrog has his Everlit torch out, you can kind of see between Balrog and Bruce that it's lit. This is a completely flat floor room. Nothing's in it. There are no sconces, there are no windows. It is a complete cube. And inside this room, as you guys are working your way towards this single ferry in the room, you do see that on the other side, there's in your vision, so if you're looking at the ferry, it's complete darkness around the ferry, but above the ferry, on the other side, to the other wall, you can see there's another door. And that's what you currently see with that. Bruce, with your very high perception roll, to your right, there is nothing. To your left, there is these giant metal doors, and you can see as Balrog gets closer and closer to the center that you can see that there are doors on the other side of the ferry. So doors to your left and doors in front of you on the other side of the wall. But there's about 60 feet between you sitting at that door to the other door across the hall.
And the fairy's just kind of singing and dancing.
In the center.
Bruce would like to tear off some of his kilt hair and make earplugs and put it in his ears.
Okay, you're gonna spend your action kind of stuffing your ears with the music. Okay, or stuffing your ears with the hair so that you can't hear the music. Okay, that is good. Okay, Steve and Balrog, you are approaching this dancing fairy. What would you like to do?
I would like to continue. I want to get to the ferry.
Okay. Again, what do you want to do with the ferry? You're at the ferry.
I would like to grab the ferry.
Are you just like grabbing, like you like just reach out and just like grab?
Yes, I'm very suspicious of something so angelic in such a medieval place.
Yep. So you walk up and without saying any words or anything, you just grab the ferry. Do I have that right?
I would grab and then I would RP.
You're going to have to give me that RP now.
Who are you? What is this place in this room here specifically?
As you grab the ferry, the light that is coming from the ferry in the room, a string from the ferry begins to light as light's going through the string, illuminating that it's connected to something, and is connected to a oh boy, man, I was not expecting you to do that. I'll be 100% honest. It is connected with a string that's arcing up and over to a skull, in which you see 2 giant 6-inch round crystals, brightly shining and becoming from dim to bright, shining like gems, as this floating skull that is connected via string to the ferry begins to hover up in front of you, and with this decently presence, the skull is about 3 feet wide by almost 4 feet tall, and the jaw kind of unhinges as its light now illuminates itself. the fairy retracts back towards the skull. And it's looking at you and says, "Ah, man, I wasn't expecting you just to grab it. No one's ever done that before."
I've grown tired of being screwed over in place. Explain what we need to do to get the next.
Well, buddy, I don't know if you know how this works, but I'm just an intern here. They told me to sit in this room. I'm an intern lich. So, I'm still working my way through everything. I'm supposed to kind of like help you guys get along in this stupid museum. My first gig. What can I say?
Oh my God.
So, what do you want from me? What can I do to help you?
Do you know anything about this room that we are in?
Yeah, it looks like a box, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm think of me like your front receptionist. You're in my room.
I see. Well, is there anything in this room that would help us to get to next part of where we are?
Yeah, I mean, there's a door over there, and he points to the left door, and there's a door back there. All you gotta do is, go to the door. What do you need some information? He kind of sniffs around, and then he kind of just floats, moves over to you, Balrog, and sniffs towards your butt, is where you're holding your pamphlet. And he goes, "I see that you got a pamphlet. I can give you a stamp if you want."
Yes. So I'll open up the pamphlet and then let him kind of do his thing to see if I can identify what room we are in.
Yeah, so you hand over the pamphlet, but he doesn't have arms, as he's a floating skull, and he just kind of hovers there, and then it just kind of flips open. It goes over to page 26, and he goes, "Oh, yeah. So let me get this right. So from your things, you guys went to the pleasure room. Did you like all those little things on the floor? Did you guys touch any of those?"
He did.
Man, the mistress, she loves her pleasure room. She's been collecting those all over the continent, so that's fun. Yeah, you guys just came from absolute dark. Well, I tell you what, if you got a couple directions. You can go through this left door, go to the Hall of Memories, or you can go north here, check out Dave. I love Dave. Maybe even go check out. I don't really know if he's there. He just kind of comes and goes, and maybe he's there, maybe he's not. Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of places to go to. Well, whatever you need. A couple of people were here before you though, but they didn't talk to me because when the CEO kind of comes through, you don't really say hi. You just nod.
Which door do they go through?
Oh, they went through the Hall of Memories. Yep.
Thank you kindly. We would like to go to Hall of Memories, please.
Oh, yeah, that's not a problem. That's the two giant iron doors right over there. But I'll go ahead and stamp this, and it's just a room called Fairy. That's it. And he stamps it with a little bit of magic, and the fairy kind of lights up, and then it's the fairies on his forehead. Well, is there anything else I could do for you? I'd be glad to help if you need. And give me a break from everything,
What's the deal with the fairy?
Oh,
like why? Like why?
Oh, I like the music. So I don't know if you guys know much about like my kind or anything, but I've got to do a lot of things to get more phylacteries. So I'm working on a new one right now. No one really worked with the fairies before, so I'm trying to create it. But it's a tough one. If people wouldn't grab it all the time, it takes around 42 days of constant singing in order for it to become a real gem. I already have 2. Those are my eyes.
Well, that's pretty cool. Could you help us? Like, you got anything you could give us to help us along the way? Like, can you heal us? Can you do anything like that?
Oh, no. I'm just informational, pretty much. They said, if anybody makes it here, they're probably pretty important. So, I was
How many people's made it here before us, right?
Oh boy, living or dead?
Well, preferably living, right?
Well, if you count the two that was like an hour ago, you know, the short little guy and the CEO. If you count those two, about 495. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good odds, right? I mean, we can't do any worse than that.
How many dead though?
493.
Well, that changes things a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
you guys are the first living people I've seen come through here.
Oh my God, what is wrong with me?
Well, I don't know what's wrong with you, buddy. You're gonna have to probably figure that one out. I can only help you information in the Museum of Sin. I'm supposed to say that in a certain voice, but I can never get it right.
How close are we to the end of the Museum of Sin?
Oh, buddy, do you got some stuff to go to? Like, if you go up to see Dave, oh man, Dave. Oh, buddy, if there was a ride that I could suggest you guys going on, it would be to go check out Dave. That's a hell of an event.
And you said Dave's through this door.
Yeah, Dave, and he points to the north door. He goes, "Yeah, Dave's through that door."
Is this like a shortcut? Is this like circle us back around to another part of the area?
No, that's the east wing. That's the darker sin. The lighter sin is in the west wing. The west wing being towards the giant iron doors.
Oh, we got to come back this way again to get out of here.
Oh, I don't really know. No one's ever actually left. That only dead people have ever come in. So leaving. I couldn't tell you if there is a place to leave. I'm probably going to be an intern here for at least a couple hundred years, so I don't plan on leaving.
All right. Well, that's all my questions. You guys have anything else you need to ask the Norse gentleman with the skull face?
No, I think we should probably just move it along.
I would like to do an insight check to see if what he's talking about Dave was truthful.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. So, also, the two giant iron doors that are to your left, what he was referring to as the west wing, the lighter sin, they are gorgeous iron doors. I mean, they're huge. And the door to go to Dave is just a simple wooden door, which he called the east wing, which is the darker sin.
My insight check was 22.
22. Yeah, 100%. You believe everything that he said. The fact that the person,
You've got to be kidding me.
the person Dave, he really likes the event and/or ride, as he called it, of Dave. So that is something that he 100% enjoys.
One last question. What exactly is Dave?
Oh, Dave's a human.
Or
That where well, I don't want to ruin it, that would be kind of, yeah, well, it kind of is. Let's okay, all right, I'll tell you this. Dave never leaves, and Dave loves it when people show up. Oh my goodness, he loves it. It's so good.
Does Dave kill these people when he shows up?
Oh no. Dave kills himself.
Dave kills.
Oh! All right.
Dave sounds like he likes to party.
Dave is a party. I mean, when I see that guy in the break room, he is a riot. He is the funniest dude I've ever met. Between him and that rust collector, dude, they have me just in stitches, and I'm made of bone. So that tells you something.
Well,
I think that we should move down to Hall of Memories.
Agreed.
You don't want to check out Dave. Well, we'll have.
No, I kind of want to rescue our buddy.
I guess that's a good point. All right, thank you, Mr. Skullman.
Hey, not a problem. Appreciate you guys stopping by. If you need anything else, just let me know. And that fairy begins to glow on his forehead, and then that string comes out, and he puts the fairy about 6 feet in front of him, and then the string stops illuminating, so then you can't see the skull anymore, and the light begins to fade from his gem-like eyes, and he begins to fade into the darkness, and then the fairy song begins to dance again. He goes, 42 more days! Oh boy.
Just imagine this fairy that's like a pull chain to a fan.
Perfect. All right. So at this time, we are going to end today's episode with the choice of going north to Dave or going west to the Hall of Memories, which that is where he said that the CEO and the little guy went to. So the big thing to end on here for everyone to know is that the giveaway that we are currently running, that we're giving away to North America only for this giveaway, it's running for all of February. It's one Eberron D&D book hardback and a D&D custom handmade dice by Cozy Gamer Dice Shop. Her dice are phenomenal, and she was nice enough to allow us to have her a part of this giveaway. So all you have to do, and I don't have the link, so as soon as I take off the headset, I'll post the giveaway so that you guys have that. I'm sorry, I just didn't get the link properly in time. But it's running for all of February. You do the actions through player.gg.com or player.gg, which is a website that says sign up, do these things, get entries, and at the end of the month, we'll do the giveaway, and then somebody's going to win the book and the dice. So if you guys have things in the D&D world that you would love to see for a giveaway, please let us know. Reach out to us on social media, and follow us on. We've got it on everything: Twitter, Instagram. We're now on Twitch. We have a YouTube page. We have a website. We put all of our episodes out as podcasts. This next week, I will have all 2, 3, and 4 episodes, including this one, out into the public. I'm just a little bit behind. So we're going to get these things out there. You guys will be able to catch up with Season 2, where we're going and what we're doing. That's it, man. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you so much for being here and enjoying it. Thank you, my players. Steve, Balrog, Bruce, you guys are awesome, as always.